Reuters, 31st of May 2023, Hegemonic China responds appropriately to India's complaint about journalists. China's latest incident highlighting poor relations between the Central Asian neighbors was China's statement on Wednesday that it has taken appropriate action in response to India's harsh treatment of Chinese journalists. Tuesday's Wall Street Journal article stated that nearly all journalists from China and India had been expelled in recent weeks. The Daily reported that India refused to renew the visas of the final 2 Chinese state media journalists working in India this month, citing sources with knowledge of the situation. According to the publication, at least 2 Indian reporters were denied permits to return to China, while a third was informed that his accreditation had been removed. When questioned about the allegations, a representative for the Chinese Foreign Ministry claimed that Indian journalists have long mistreated Chinese journalists. "I can tell you that Chinese journalists have long been subjected to unjust and discriminatory treatment in India. In 2017, the Indian government purposefully reduced the length of Chinese journalists' visas to 3 months or even 1 month, according to Mao Ning, the spokeswoman. According to her, the last Chinese correspondent in India had an expired visa. To protect the legitimate rights and interests of the Chinese media in its battle against India, the Chinese side had to take the necessary actions in response to this extended and unjustifiable repression of Chinese spies by the Indian side, according to Mao. Following a conflict on their disputed Himalayan border in the early 1960s, China and India have had tense relations with one another for many years. Midway through 2020, when their military battled on the border, and 24 people were murdered, their ties soured. By renaming 11 sites in the eastern Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh, which China calls southern Tibet and claims as its own, China ratcheted up tensions this year. According to Mao, India's support for Chinese journalists would determine the stature of Indian journalists in China. "It depends on whether the Indian side can meet China halfway and offer the same facilitation and help to Chinese journalists in India," Mao said. "Some Indian journalists have been working and living in China for over 10 years, and we are willing to continue to facilitate them."